Good morning, everyone. Appreciate the opportunity to be here. It's great to see some longtime friends and supporters of the clubs. And of course, you know my colleague over here, James Luck. He's really the man here in Gloucester, and we've happy to have the opportunity to present. What I want to do with my time today is talk a little bit just briefly about the club, what we do in Boys and Girls Clubs, and then get into kind of the meat and potatoes of what we're doing specifically in the community. So I don't know if there's a clicker or we just have some.
I can drive it.
Yeah, actually. Yeah, we'll go to the, and again, my name is Hal Smith, so we'll gloss over that real quick. Yeah, you see with Boys and Girls Clubs, the Virginia Peninsula, we have our Gloucester unit here that's been operating for 25 years, and it's part of our overall network of clubs. But we've done some things recently to kind of separate the club out a little bit more here in Gloucester and make it more of its own entity here with some corporate support as well. So as we start with every opportunity to speak, I want to start with our mission. The mission at Boys and Girls Club of Gloucester is the same mission that we have nationwide, and that's to inspire and enable all youth, especially those who need us most, to reach their full potential as responsible, productive citizens. What that means is we provide opportunities for kids to engage in youth development activities after school that not only just gives them a place to go and get their homework done and that type of thing, but really develops the future generation of leaders. The kids that are in our clubs today in Gloucester are going to be the ones sitting around this table and being the movers and shakers in the community in the future. Again, one of the reasons why we exist is we want to make sure that we have opportunities for kids. You know, when I grew up in the 1980s, we were called the latchkey kids, right? If you had both parents or you came from a single parent household, a lot of times you came home and you were stuck at home. And sometimes you can get engaged in some negative behaviors and opportunities. The Boys and Girls Club provides a place for those kids to go and staying away from some of those negative behaviors. So we'll go to the next slide. So what makes this different? There's a lot of great opportunities for kids in the community, but I think one of the things that kind of sets Boys and Girls Clubs apart is that we strategically place our clubs in areas of need. So as many of you all probably know, our club is just 5 miles across the Coleman Bridge, and we recognize that a lot of the families that we serve in Gloucester may work in the lower part of the peninsula or over in Williamsburg or what have you. So the value of having the club located there is generally if folks have to come, you know, past the over the Coleman Bridge to come back home, that the club is right there for them, and we have great opportunities for the kids to get to the club after school. We are a well-rounded program at Boys and Girls Club. We're not just a rec program. We're not just a tutoring program. You'll see in a minute, we've got 5 main areas of focus that we primarily operate in the club. We are affordable and accessible. The fees that our families pay at the club to participate are, I'm going to say, next to nothing. They're very, very small considering some of the other fee structures. We want to make sure that every family from every walk of life has the opportunity to participate. And if there is a challenge, we have a scholarship program as well. But I think one of the most important things that sets us apart, and you might have seen some commercials nationwide with Denzel Washington and others that talk about the people that impacted them growing up. And in the 25 years that we've been serving kids here, there's been tons of staff that have really deeply impacted the probably 15,000 kids that have come through our doors in the last 25 years. And then hope an opportunity, you know, every year it seems to get a little bit tougher to be a kid, no matter where you come from and some of the challenges that you have to deal with. And at Boys and Girls Clubs, James and his team make sure that every kid that comes to the club realizes that they can, you know, be who they want to be, and they're going to get the help and support from the staff and from the community to achieve those goals and be those future leaders. So we'll go to the next slide. So again, we provide summer and after-school programming. We're in the midst of our summer programming now, where we're operating as early as 7:30 in the morning, and we close at 6 p.m. So it's an amazing resource for kids. And as you'll see there, we serve kids of all ages, 6 to 18. It's not just a 6 to 12 program. We do have teen programs available, and there's some really cool things that we're doing in the club now to try to increase the number of teens that we serve in the club. There's a little over 500 kids annually that we serve in the Gloucester community through regular membership. That doesn't even include the other community groups where kids come in to play in the club as well. So that's just regular membership. And I mentioned 5 core areas: education, character and leadership, health and wellness, sports and recreation, and the arts. So we were, historically known as a sports-based program, and sports are, very important as far as, for a lot of our kids, kind of that carrot that we dangle to get kids into the club and engage. But there's so many more things that we provide in the club once the kids start coming. So a lot of times when folks are investing in a nonprofit, it is an actual investment. They want to know that their gift is making an impact. So we've got a couple of things here that I want to show you that kind of proves that point. And we talked earlier, I mentioned, some of the negative behaviors that kids can go into and can get into if they don't have an after-school program like Boys and Girls Club to attend. So if a kid goes down the wrong path and has to be incarcerated in a youth detention center in Virginia, and this is a few years old now, but $148,000 is what it costs the taxpayers of Virginia for that youth to be, a member of the system. When we add up all the costs that we have to provide these services to our kids year-round, it's about $3,500. So if you do the math, it's over 40 kids that we can serve for the cost of one kid going down the wrong path. So that's one. The next one is the University of Michigan did a nationwide search that for every single dollar that's invested in Boys and Girls Clubs, there's $10 that's returned to the community. So you think about it, kids having a place to go after school that resonates with all families. That means that both parents can work, so the families are earning wages there, access to health care, what have you. Also, the kids that are going to a Boys and Girls Club are learning valuable skills, especially I mentioned with our teen program, workforce training, skills that they can then take to the future so that they can become the future leaders. So that's a pretty good return on investment, 10 to 1. So let me talk specifically about the Boys and Girls Club of Gloucester. Again, since 2001, we have been serving kids in the Gloucester community. I would venture to guess at least 15,000 kids have come in and out of the doors of the Gloucester kids, and some of the leaders in the community now were alums of the club. So after 25 years, we recognize that there's a need to invest in the physical structure. We have varying, in Boys and Girls Clubs, there's varying opportunities and ways and models to operate a club. Probably the most impactful, but yet most expensive way is a building that we own, and that's what we have in Gloucester. We have a 40,000 square foot facility. And it needed some work. So let's go to the next slide. So one of you'll see the items over there, new flooring throughout. Again, this was a Rose's department store. Some of you may remember that back before 2001. And when you go into a department store, what can't you find? The bathrooms, right? Because they're all the way tucked in the back. So one of the things that we recognized is that, to make it safe for all kids, we needed to add a couple of bathrooms as well in the front because a lot of the programming happens there as well. Updating the signage and the lighting on the outside. We want people to know where the club is and to be able to see it from Route 17. Improving the lighting throughout, and then additional program support. There's so many great ideas that James and the team have, and that does take resources to come to fruition. So how are we doing so far? We'll see on the next slide. We had a goal of raising $300,000 initially for the renovations, and then each year, going forward, we'll have a fundraising goal as well. So we're closing in on the amount, $218,000. But the best thing I can report to you today is that money's not just sitting in the bank. As soon as that money comes in, we're investing it into the space. So over here, it's probably hard to see that, but the picture on the far left there is the soccer rink, which is also a skating rink, so that floor has been done. Throughout the main program space, we've replaced the old VCT tile with carpet to make it a little more conducive to our programming. We've got LVT flooring in the front of the club, and then you'll see over on the far right picture there, those are the two bathrooms side by side that we've added in the front program space. So it's just been an amazing opportunity for the kids. I know James and the staff have gotten a lot of great feedback. So that $218,000 was raised right in this community. There was no corporate support that was provided for that. So the community has stepped up and will continue to step up. And there's a couple of ways that I want to tell you later about how you can support as well. But again, we're not done. We're not done. We have the exterior lighting, the signage on the outside to do with the remaining funds that we raise, and then. It's funny when if you build a new house or you renovate your house and then you put the old furniture back in there, it makes the furniture look a little older, right? So we want to have brand new furniture and program tables and desks and things like that for the kids. So everything in the club is new. The next slide just kind of shows you, the why. Why are we doing this? We're doing this because of the amazing opportunities that kids have in the club. And we recognize, too, that the Boys and Girls Club space, Gloucester County, unfortunately, doesn't have a community center per se. So the club has become really a hub for the community as well. Over the last year, you'll see there we've had over 50 local organizations that have either had events or currently have events there. We have a number of sports leagues, Baystars FC, and a couple football teams that use the space as well for practice. So again, this club is really a resource for the entire community, not just for Boys and Girls Clubs kids. So that's one of the things that we want to make sure the community recognizes. The next slide just shows from some of the corporate sponsorships levels that we have available. So if you're affiliated, and we've got some corporate sponsors in the room, so we thank Chesapeake Bank and others for their support of the club. But these are the ways that the business community and individuals as well can step up and support the club, not just for the renovations and program opportunities this year, but ongoing as well. The next thing I want to talk about with regard to support is there's an amazing program that the Commonwealth of Virginia has through the Department of Education, and they're called Neighborhood Assistance Program tax credits. So Boys and Girls Clubs, as a charity that focuses on education, has the opportunity to participate in this program. And what it does is if you qualify, you make a qualifying donation, we as an organization can provide a tax credit to you that takes not just money off of your taxable income, but actually money directly off of your tax bill. So how does that work? One thing I want to mention is, and you see our source there, TurboTax, 90% of taxpayers take the standard deduction. So I'm not going to go down into the accounting finance realm and explain all of that to you, but a number of years ago, the IRS increased the threshold of what they called standard deductions. So that's where you don't itemize. You don't itemize your interest that you pay on your home mortgage and other things that qualify. You just get a flat deduction. So a lot of times it's more conducive for people to take that standard deduction. So what does that mean if you give a charitable donation? It means that you don't get any tax benefit. And people don't necessarily give for a tax benefit, but it's a good thing to have that opportunity. With the Neighborhood Assistance Program tax credits, you can get a state tax credit whether you itemize or whether you just take the standard deduction. So let's say in this scenario, you decide you want to support a neighborhood organization like Boys and Girls Club of Gloucester with a $1,000 donation, which is an amazing donation and can go a long way. It costs you $1,000. That's your out-of-pocket cost. If you were to consider giving a $2,500 donation, which is significantly more, you can receive a state tax credit. And with that tax credit, you get $1,625 savings off of your Virginia tax liability. So what that means, if you do the math, that means that that $2,500 investment with a NAP tax credit only costs you $875. So with the opportunity to get these tax credits, and we just got our new allotment of credits today, we have quite a few to give. With that new allotment of credits, you can make a deeper investment, 2.5 times the investment in Boys and Girls Club, and get for less money out of pocket than if you just paid the $1,000 as a donation, which again is a great donation. A $2,500 qualifying donation for NAP tax credits costs you less than $1,000. And the second takeaway is, even if you do itemize your deductions, you can still take advantage of that additional tax savings and then the additional savings off of your federal tax as well. So the last thing I want to share is, as far as giving, a lot of people think about giving and it's a little bit easier to stomach a monthly gift. And that is one of the things that we're launching at Boys and Girls Clubs now. We've got 3 levels here. So for just 83 cents a day, you can provide $25, which covers the cost of programming for one child for the week, the fee that they would have to pay. You can provide that for 1 week if you do the $25 a month. If you consider a $50 per month fee, that's the Future Forward Leader. You can provide that same, you get that same benefit that you provide to the kids, and then 5 additional meals. And then if you really think about it, for $210, $7 per day, probably a little bit more than a cup of coffee these days, you can become a NAP donor and receive that additional NAP tax credits, because those can be given on a monthly basis. So this is an opportunity for folks to support on a monthly basis, which is a little bit easier sometimes than just giving one check right from the get-go. So that QR code there is how you can get more information on that. And then the last slide that we have is just if you want more information on the improvements and what we're doing in the clubs each and every day. So I don't know if there's time for questions, but I'm happy to answer any.
There is. Any questions? And I'll check the chat. I actually don't have any questions in the chat either. You covered it all.
All right, well, listen, I really appreciate your time and the work you do and the investment in the community and especially our youth.
Yeah, no, thank you.
Thank you.
For joining us today.
Thank you.